Okay, let's talk about ordering numbers, in particular decimals. Let's start by ordering some bigger numbers for, whole numbers as we're accustomed seeing them. So I will put some numbers down here. So I've got 4, 7, 16, 13, and 19. Very easy numbers, not too big at all. Now, as we look at these numbers here, it's quite easy for us to order them. If I asked a 5-year-old child to order them, they will quickly go 4 goes first, then 7, then 13, then 16, and then 19 last. And it's quite easy to see that because if you look here, this number's got 0 tens and 0 tens. So because it's got 0 tens, we just look quickly at the unit and we say, okay, the one with the smallest amount of units, that one will go first, and then the other one with 0 tens, and then the next biggest size in units, this my units here, will go next. But all of these other numbers only had 1 10. So because they've had 1 10, I will only look now at the end number, or the units. Smallest unit, second smallest unit, and then the third smallest unit there. So with that being said, it was easy to order these numbers. Now we'll go on to the scary decimal numbers. Similarly here, we looked at all these numbers here, and you notice that this only got 2 units, and then you've got these tenths behind here. Okay, that's fine. Now if you look very carefully, you'll notice that they all start with 2, so I'm not even going to bother looking at the 2. I'm looking only at the end numbers there. And the one with the smallest end number is this one here. So it has got 2.1. So naturally, that comes first. So I can scratch that off so I don't have to write it again. The next one, with the next biggest one, is 2.5. Then the next biggest one, so I'll scratch that off, is 2.6, 2.7, and then 2.9. Alright, so that's all pretty easy so far, isn't it? Now, for a question that you'll more see in class or in an exam, let's move on. Alright, here are some new numbers. Now, straight away what you would notice, there is a number in here that has got less decimal places than the other numbers. The other numbers have got 2 decimal places. This one's only got 1. Right, what I like to do to make sure I don't confuse myself with numbers like those, I tend to fill up the decimal places with zeros, the missing one. Because all the other numbers have got 2 decimal places, I want this one as well to have 2 decimal places, so I'm going to fill it up with a 0. And sometimes it could be really confusing when you see all these numbers here and you think, how can I put them in order? Well, what I like to do is start off by forgetting that the decimal point is even there. So if I forget the decimal point is even there, then this becomes 123. This becomes 130. This becomes 145. This becomes 109. And that becomes 142. Well, I know my numbers, so this is very easy to do now. I can straight away see that the first number has to be 109. It's the smallest number there. So 109. Then the next number will have to be 123. So 123. Then the next number, 130. And the last number, the next number along, 142, and then the last number, 145. Well, I've got all the numbers that I need. So now all I need to do is just put the decimal point back in, and I'll be fine. So 1.09, 1.23, 1.3, 1.42, and 1.45. Easy peasy. Now let's try one more, just that little bit harder, and then we'll stop. Alright, the first thing to notice with this one is that there is a number here with 3 decimal places, or 3 numbers after the decimal point. Now, because I already know that that's going to pose a problem to me, what I want is all the numbers to have 3 decimal places. So I'm just going to add zeros on the end of them to make them 3 decimal places, and add some zeros on the end to make them all 3 decimal places. Now I'm happy. Then I'm going to now move ahead and imagine that the decimal point just isn't there, because I like doing that. It makes it easy for me to see the numbers. So this becomes 2,650, 2,560, 2,014, 2,300, and 2,700. Now it's really easy to order them. I can see that they all start with 2,000, so I wouldn't even bother to look at the 2,000s. I will just go straight for looking at the hundreds, because that's where the difference is being made. This one has got no hundreds, so that must be the smallest one, 2,014. That takes care of that. Then this one has only got 3 hundreds there, so 2,300, that has to be the next one. Then this one has got 500, so 2,560 takes care of that. This has got 600 here, so 2,650. And last of all, this one here for 2,700. Now I can just go ahead and put those decimal points back in there, just pop them back in right where they belong, and then we're done. What I can do, because this was, let's just say this was in a test and they didn't give me all those zeros on the end, if you want you can go ahead and just take those zeros off that you've added on, and there you have it, all done. Alright, I hope this was pretty straightforward. Try ordering some decimals for yourself and see if you're able to make sense of it.